We're minor celebrities now.
We are E-list celebrities right now.
E-list. Oh,
Tell
God.
your friends.
So, Vinny, did you watch the Hulu video yet?
You got that straight. I did. I watched the Hulu documentary that premiered on Friday.
Because I know you don't listen to the podcast.
I was going to avoid it like the plague. I hate hearing my voice. I hate seeing myself on film. And because those two things were happening simultaneously, I didn't dare go on Facebook or Hulu. I did not want to see myself through Hulu's eyes in high definition.
Well, I think you looked and sounded great, my friend.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You looked okay.
Yeah.
I did.
I certainly didn't sound all right, that's for sure.
Oh, you were great. I actually did get around to watching it, and I thought it was really nice. It was very tastefully done. But we weren't in there. We weren't heavily featured, which I appreciated. There was a little taste of us, but you heard from all these uber Seinfeld fans and various ways that they had come to be recognized by Hulu, and you got to see a little bit of each of their story. But it was all in culmination of this huge trivia event at the end of the Summer of George, which was put on by Trivia AD, a organization that you sometimes work for and do trivia.
Yeah, do a lot of Seinfeld trivia with them almost, once a week, once every 2 weeks in New York. For those of you that are listening that have no idea what we're talking about, Hulu put together this 16, 17-minute mini doc on Seinfeld fandom and this big trivia event. It's on YouTube. It's also on the Hulu website. You can just Google it. I'm sure it's called They're Real and They're Spectacular.
And they're spectacular.
Something about we should know Seinfeld fandom in the Summer of George. It's a great little doc, and I think Hulu just killed it with all the segments with different Seinfeld fans being interviewed, how they celebrate their fandom, and then splicing it together with clips from the show and building that tension during the trivia tournament. It was just really, really well done.
Hulu did a tremendous job with us specifically with everybody knows the Double Dipper feature we do on episodes here. And they were able to put side-by-sides video of various actors taking on two different roles in the Seinfeld universe. So I feel like we actually did break through a little bit. We're part of the Glitterati now.
Yeah, hardly. Do you remember the day we filmed our segment?
I remember being really cranky because I was on no sleep driving up to Jersey, and then it was just stressful trying to get into the city and make it there on time, and also try and be somewhat interesting for the folks at Hulu.
I mean, we were treated so well, and I think Forrest and other Vinny and Josh, they did such a wonderful job, like making us feel comfortable and enjoying the process, but getting to it was really rough. And
couldn't have been a nicer crew of folks at Hulu.
Yeah, they were great. I gotta say though, man, I'm still licking my wounds after that comment I made.
Which comment is that, Matthew?
So I want to explain this just in case old listeners and new listeners saw the video, and
I think they're all gone now after that.
I think so. I think our listenership definitely dropped after this Hulu video. At one
point, this guy doesn't know Seinfeld.
At one point during our interview, and keep in mind, no sleep, very stressful morning, and a little bit hungry. I decided to say that Seinfeld has been off the air for 22 years, and if you do the math, that is way off. And I'm seeing this, show up in the documentary, and I'm like, why? Why is that? One, why did I say it? And two, why did Hulu include it?
Did you have that little inner monologue when Jerry says, just a salad, just a salad?
It was worse than that, man. I was feeling so embarrassed. I mean, the documentary as a whole was great, but that moment just killed me. And then I got to thinking, just doing the math, 2015 minus 22 years would have been 1993. And at the time we filmed our interview, we had just finished discussing season 4. So I think in my head I was in 1993. Regardless, the comment doesn't make any sense.
No.
The only good thing to come from it is in 4 years it'll be accurate.
Seemingly. I also think the other good thing is all the good-natured ribbing you received from listeners about the comment on Facebook too.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Got a few emails and comments from listeners wondering when we were going to be coming back. Did we take a hiatus? Did we break up?
It's over for Seincast.
Some of them are a little aggressive, like, how dare you keep us waiting?
What do you do all day anyway?
It was a much needed break from Seincast, but we're very happy to be back. We're excited to start with season 6, Vinny. I can't believe it. We're almost halfway through the series. Something else I did that occupied a lot of my time while we were off was I watched a show that I've been putting off for years because I was just never into it. And I have never been more wrong about a TV show, but more importantly, a comedian in my entire life than Louis C.K. Vinny, you and I, we go a ways back with Louis C.K. You've been a fan, right, for what, 5-6 years now?
A while, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
we went and saw him at the Kennedy Center when he came to town.
Right, so we played his album years ago, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
I was pushing him on you, and you're just like, yeah.
You're pushing the show, Louis on FX. Then you take me to the Kennedy Center to see Todd Barry and Louis C.K. do stand-up, and I'm like, yeah, he's all right. He just never really clicked with me, and I decided to watch his show while I was off because my wife watched it, and she said how similar I am to Louis, and I'm like, oh, well, let's see if you're right about that. And yeah, I just have to say I've been so wrong about his show and just his comedy in general. Maybe I related to it too much.
So how's your confidence?
Shot.
Doofus?
Yo. Yeah, it's a fantastic show, and it's actually at this moment, it's one of my favorite shows. It's just fantastic.
I'm glad. I'm glad you finally got into it. And
Yeah.
I still contend, we've spoken about this before, but you have to be open and receptive to when somebody suggests a TV show or comedian or a book or anything, I guess, in the arts, to kind of embrace it, and you just weren't ready. So it's not it's not a thing of like, oh, I've been telling you for years. I'm happy that you got into it when you did. You tell me about these great shows all the time, and I don't have time, or I just am not into it, but I'll get there. But I'm glad you finally got on the Louis C.K. train.
Let's move on to a little news. Let's talk about Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She's going to be hosting Saturday Night Live on April 16th. Mark it on your calendars. That's a week from this coming Saturday, April 16th. Very excited for this. I missed her last appearance as host, but I have seen many clips from her stint in the 80s as a cast member. I think she was there at the same time as Larry David, right?
That's right. That's how the connection was made.
There you go. And her husband, Brad Hall, was a cast member as well. We kind of criticize some comedians in Cars episodes when you don't feel like Jerry connects with the guest as much. It feels kind of awkward, but this one was just so comfortable, so natural.
He was laughing at everything Gary had to say, too.
In fact, one of the highlights was when they went to the old CBS Radford lot, and they visited the actual Seinfeld set. It's now a different sitcom, but they walk around there for a little bit, and then they walk around the street set, the New York street set that I think Seinfeld was the show that got it built pretty much in this season 6 we're going to start talking about here. Not only was it cool to see that, but Jerry and Gary worked near each other on that lot when Gary was producing and filming the Larry Sanders Show. In fact, Jerry shared a little bit of trivia to tie this all the way back to Seinfeld. Gary actually contributed a joke to a Seinfeld episode, right? In the bookstore.
Go on.
This is when George takes the French Impressionist paintings book into the bathroom, and then the bookstore forces him to buy the book. It's like $100. Later on, he's in the coffee shop talking to Jerry, and George asks Jerry, "What do you read in the bathroom?"
I don't read in the bathroom.
And then George says, "Well, aren't you something?" That was the joke. That's the joke that Gary came up with, actually. He contributed that line, "Well, aren't you something?" So it's nice. I like knowing that Gary had an influence on Seinfeld, directly with a line. But I think it's pretty obvious what an influence he had on comedy as a whole. I mean, from It's Gary Shandling's Show to the Larry Sanders Show, I mean, this guy has influenced comedy, years before. I mean, look at the influence on what? Curb, The Office,
Parks and Rec, Arrested Development, basically any mockumentary show you see now, Gary Shandling was the one who did it first.
Vinny, I am really excited about SNL this week. Julia Louis-Dreyfus hosting on Saturday, April 16th. Should be a big episode.
JLD on SNL. OMG. That's good stuff.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry.
Are you going to watch it? Watch it live, or are you going to wait till Sunday?
I'd like to watch it live, but I have a feeling I'll be fast asleep.
Yeah, I was wondering if you're going to watch the highlight reel, if people are going to say, yeah, these are the good skits, and just watch those, or do you have to watch it, from start to finish?
Just like with Larry's episode, I'd like to see every single skit, both ones he's in and not in.
Right.
And I'd like to do the same for Julia's, but I really hope that they release some behind the scenes footage of what ensued, through rehearsal and dress and things like that, to see if because she, as we know, she is quite the laugher as well. And when you get into the wee hours of the night and early morning, she tends to just lose it and laugh, which is when I find her the most charming. So I hope we get some gems from that this week.
Yeah, we might. I'm looking forward to it. Once again, that Larry David blooper reel for, what was the guy's name? Kevin...
Oh, man. Kevin Roberts.
Yeah, that reel, the blooper reel.
Dance!
Just incredible. So good. I have a feeling they'll do the same with Julia. Any predictions? Do you think we're going to get some Seinfeld mentions? Maybe a reference or two? Maybe.
If anything, we'd probably get, hopefully, please. If anything, I think we'll get some Veep references.
Yeah, that's more likely. Veep season 5 starts on the, 24th, April 24th.
Hence why she's plugging away.
Yeah. But yeah, you're probably right at that. I'm sure there'll be plenty of political references too, just with the election coming up.
Now what would be really something is if we could get Bernie Sanders, aka Larry David, on there while JLD's on there. That would be something.
Yeah, we might actually. Well, Vinny, I figured we could go over some emails from some of our listeners in regards to last week's discussion of the chaperone. First email is from David Willardson. He writes, as both a Seinfeld fan and a baseball fan, I couldn't help but notice the similarities while watching the chaperone between Buck Showalter and Mr. Kruger. They really sound the same, similar tone, cadence. He thinks even if you put a Yankees cap on Kruger, they'd look identical. I'm in 100% agreement with David here. They look identical, don't they?
George. I think David's absolutely right. I see it too. I think the test would be, we got to get Buck Showalter to say Kruger and
Yes.
see how it sounds, and then we'll know for sure.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't know who Buck Showalter was until I saw that episode of Seinfeld, and I remember thinking that that guy looks a lot like what's his name, Daniel von Bargen, the actor who played Kruger.
Next email comes from Braden Bradford. Remember when we were talking about episodes and their namesake, if any of the Fab Four actually corresponded to a particular episode name?
Like the chaperone is Kramer.
There you go. So that was the first one Braden found. He also found Jerry as the Good Samaritan, George as the marine biologist, Kramer as the stand-in, Elaine as the beard, also Elaine as the Susie, Jerry as the doorman, and George as the doodle.
So what do you think, Vinny? Are any of those debatable? I'm a little lukewarm on the stand-in. Just, Kramer is the stand-in, but Mickey is as well.
Yeah, Kramer technically counts as a stand-in, but when I think of the stand-in, I'm thinking of the one and only Mickey Abbott.
Right.
The only other one that seems kind of iffy would be Jerry as the doorman.
But again, like the stand-in, right? It's
right.
It counts.
It's the same argument, yeah. Judge ruling counts.
I might have to take George as the doodle off. It is a doodle of George, but he is not the doodle himself. Well, but he is, though.
He is the doodle. What are you talking about?
But George is George. The doodle is the doodle.
But the doodle is of George.
Oh,
hence
boy.
doodle.
Oh, another one I want to throw into the mix, if we're counting the stand-in and the doorman. What about the soulmate? I know that's Pam, but could Kramer maybe be the soulmate?
He does say we're soulmates. Mm-hmm. But I guess, when I think of the soulmate, I'm thinking of Pam as being the soulmate.
Of
so
course.
it's debatable.
Right. Debatable.
Technically, you're not wrong, but, you are.
All right, so there are a few in the bunch there that could go either way.
Still a really fun game to try and, going through each episode.
Another email here comes from Terry Harlow. This is directed at you, Vinny. During your last episode, you were talking about how it was a coincidence that Elaine looked like Jackie O. Vinny mentioned that it was a big coincidence, but we all know that you can't have a big coincidence. You either have a coincidence or you don't. Just an observation. Now, Vinny, before you answer, I was editing last week's episode, and you said big coincidence 2 or 3 times. First time is a coincidence. Mm-hmm. Second time is a big coincidence. Third time, you're doing it on purpose. You were referencing Rava, weren't you?
I was referencing Rava there, but Terry is absolutely right. There are no big and small coincidences. There are just coincidences.
Yes. I think we should
No, we shouldn't.
give the listeners a little peek behind the seincast curtain. Vinny and I are recording this episode, The Pledge Drive, a mere hour after recording our discussion of the big salad from last week. So, unfortunately, we are not up to date on our Seinfeld news. We have not seen Julia on Saturday Night Live. What else do you think?
I actually wanted to go forth with the charade and be like, man, wasn't Julia great in that beep? And proceed with that. I thought it would have been hilarious, but I got outvoted there.
Or even better, like, hey, wasn't Julia Louis-Dreyfus really great in that skit about airplanes? But yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a review on Julia's appearance on SNL. I'm sure it was great. We'll talk about that next week.
Matthew, why are we recording 2 episodes back to back here?
Well, first of all, very sorry, Vinny, for your sake.
He's always apologizing for me. Am I complaining over here? I'm probably complaining a little bit.
Yeah. I'm going to be in Santa Fe next week, all of next week, so I won't be available to record.
Do you know the way to Santa Fe?
Vinny, any predictions you want to put down?
I was hoping for LD to make an appearance as Bernie Sanders. I'd like to see that. We always would hope for a Seinfeld parody, but I think it's either too far gone or too predictable that maybe they won't do that anymore. So maybe a Veep parody or...
Well, let me rephrase the question too. Are we gonna get like a Seinfeld reunion? Is Larry going to announce Curb season 10?
Yes.
Or, I'm sorry, season 9
Larry
or 11.
Larry will be announcing a Curb Your Enthusiasm movie in 3D, but Jason Alexander will be playing Larry in the movie.
Wow, that's a head scratcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that nothing really big happens where we won't be able to talk about it for another 2 weeks. Ready to talk about a lot of Seinfeld news here that we missed last week during the Pledge Drive. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Vinny, was on Saturday Night Live on April 16th. Since I was away, I didn't get a chance to watch it live, but I finally watched the episode this morning, actually.
Oh, nothing like waiting to the last minute, huh?
But I gotta say, I was a little, how do I put it?
Underwhelmed?
A little bit, yeah.
I think I enjoyed the Larry David episode a little bit more, just in terms of seeing Larry kind of engage in sketch comedy for the first time. But, we had JLD on SNL, and Larry David actually reprised his role as Bernie Sanders in the opening sketch.
Which I think is the skit most people were talking about.
Yeah.
And I lied, that's actually the one skit I saw like right after it aired, but I didn't see the rest of the episode till this week. But I gotta say that episode or that skit was a little cringeworthy for me. To explain to anyone, you have Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders debating, and when they go to the audience to ask questions, you have none other than Elaine Bennis, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She's got the red jacket on, the big wall of hair, which was great, and it was great imagery, and you totally called it, in a sense. This might have been off mic, but you totally thought we'd get a Seinfeld reference during Saturday Night Live.
I speculated that I would like to see one, but I thought it'd be too obvious to do something like that, so they wouldn't do it. But they actually did, so I was really happy they did.
They did, and I'm, again, very happy they did too. I love that it happened. It's something that we can always return to if we want a little Seinfeld fix, but to me, the jokes landed really flat. It just seemed to be really kind of lame Seinfeld references.
Yeah, they were cute, though. We had a yada yada reference.
Yeah, yelling at Bernie Sanders, "You're bald." Larry David, as Bernie Sanders said, Bernie's getting upset. But to me, there were some other skits that night that just totally trumped them. Hey.
Hey, look at you.
Can't say that word anymore. Totally trumped them. We won't go through every skit here, but did you have a favorite skit of the night or one you wanted to mention? I think we're going to agree on the last skit of the evening, which we can save. But was there one that Julia featured in that was your favorite?
That's what I'm trying to think of, is which one I enjoyed Julia in the most. I really enjoyed the skit, and it was more for Pete Davidson rather than Julia. Mm-hmm. But when she was the mother or the wife having an affair with the pool guy.
Oh, really?
Pete Davidson, he's got a funny face and quality about him, so I enjoyed that.
Oh,
but
man.
she wasn't. She was playing it more straight in that skit.
That pool guy skit, I did not like that one at all. I was a big fan, and I'm sure not a lot of people like this one, of the Cinema Classics one, where she's this old actress who can't remember her lines, so she has to check objects, like yes, or oh, we should kill her, or I've been shot. Yeah. I like that because he really got to showcase Julia's physical comedy, which a lot of people don't really think about with her.
True.
I really enjoyed that skit, but
the Match.com skit where her and Kate McKinnon were the aliens actually made me chuckle a lot.
That is that last, or one of the last skits of the evening where they're just like, let's throw the weirdest shit we can out there. But Vinny, the one skit that we both loved, I know, didn't even feature Julia. It was the last skit of the evening. It was a trailer for a movie called God is a Boob Man. Great send up on all of those just crappy, like pro-Christian victim movies. But gotta say, a lot of taped segments. I was surprised how many. It seemed like there were just as many like live segments as there were taped ones.
Yeah, I could see that.
But Julia was busy that week. She then appeared on Mark Maron's podcast, What the F***, on the 21st for the 700th episode.
That's right. She was there to promote Veep, but I am actually now subscribed to Mark Maron. I really like WTF. I listened to some shows from the back catalog after listening to her episode as well as Louis' to commemorate the 700th episode. I thought she was really good, and they kind of chronicled her whole career from, starting out Northwestern, getting onto SNL, the Seinfeld years, as well as her current Veep years that she's in right now.
But yeah, a lot of cool trivia in that interview. Recommend everyone checking it out. And then Julia's big premiere, season 5 of Veep. I always look forward to this HBO lineup. It's my favorite time of year with Veep, Silicon Valley, and then Game of Thrones, and then
Forget about it.
Last Week Tonight. It's just a great night for TV. We should mention, though, if anyone out there hasn't watched Veep yet, it's a great show. Dave Mendel is actually the new showrunner for the season. It was really
Seinfeld alum.
Yeah, it was a big deal when the original creator and showrunner Armando, I think it's Iannucci, left.
Got it right.
He's the brains behind Veep. He did a great movie called In the Loop a couple of years ago, which is pretty much like a British version of Veep. But when he announced that he was leaving, I was like, what are they going to do? The show's going to fall apart. And yeah, none other than Seinfeld alum Dave Mendel is steering the ship there, which I'm sure, as you've pointed out, is a great start to the season. And also a shout out to Silicon Valley. I don't know if you can really say that's like a Seinfeld influenced show, but Alec Berg is one of the executive producers. Alec Berg, great John Houseman name. He has written a few episodes, directed a few episodes, and I hear also Stephen Tobolowsky has joined the cast for this season. Tor Ekman.
Nice.
So there you go.
Wouldn't it be great if his character was Tor and he's still kicking it now? He moved out west.
Yes. Yeah, great lineup on Sundays on HBO. So check those out. Veep and Silicon Valley. 3 weeks, I think, since we've, at least released a podcast. We've recorded a few. They haven't gone well.
Yeah, this is take 3 for us.
We heard from a lot of listeners, Vinny, who did not pick up on that pizza abortion joke from the couch. It was really cool to hear from people saying, like, I never got that until I heard it brought up on your show. So it makes me wonder, are there other Seinfeld jokes that are as clever or as like layered as that abortion pizza joke?
Right, weaved into the storyline so that only the acute observer would pick up on it, or it doesn't quite hit you like a bag of bricks. Mm-hmm. That's cool though that we were able to kind of shed some light on that. So I like that. That's what we're here for.
That's, I think, one thing we've accomplished over the past 2 years, which is great. I wanted to bring up another podcast. It's not a Seinfeld podcast. It's actually something different, but it kind of ties into one of the guest stars in this week's episode. The podcast I wanted to talk about is called The Twilight Pone. A silly name, but an absolutely hilarious, insightful podcast hosted by two guys, John and Fred. They are old college buddies like you and me, Vinny.
Hey.
They have a great rapport. They basically go through every episode of The Twilight Zone, similar to what we do here. Not as much minutia, but 10 times the laughs, I'll tell you that. They only have, I think, about 6 or 7 episodes left out of the 156.
Good for them.
Yes. Well, I'm really sad that they're going away because this is my favorite podcast to listen to. Everyone's got their favorite. I'm sure Seincast is a favorite for many of our listeners, but this is my personal favorite. It's very much an indie podcast. But yeah, I just highly recommend it. If anyone out there is a Twilight Zone fan that wants to hear two guys talk about it. And like I said, very funny, very insightful. And how can we tie this back into Seinfeld? One of the guest stars this week, the actress who plays Mrs. Enright Lois Nettleton, was in one of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes called The Midnight Sun, which fantastic episode. Love it. Very good. Great premise. Idea is that the Earth is moving closer and closer to the sun each day. And it's basically about those final moments as people are trying to survive and trying to
Flaming globes of Sigmund.
yes, everything turning to It's a great episode. But yeah, wanted to give a shout out to the Twilight Pwn because they're wrapping up and it's just a fantastic podcast. I want to ask you, have you heard of this show Maya and Marty on NBC?
Heard of it? Haven't seen it.
Well, it's a variety show which premiered just on May 31st on NBC. It's got Maya Rudolph in it and Martin Short. It's produced by Lorne Michaels. Like you, Vinny, haven't seen it. I hadn't even heard about it until this video just went viral of Martin Short bringing back the beloved, is that the right?
By some.
Yeah, beloved character, Jiminy Glick from the early 2000s. And he interviewed one Larry David.
LD.
Yeah. Did you watch this video yet?
I didn't.
Oh, boy.
I'm a bad Seinfeld fan.
I'm a bad man. It's a great video. Everyone should check this out. I got it in our show notes. There's a link there for you to watch. It's great because I think Larry David and Martin Short have a really nice history together.
Oh, yeah.
So you can see a lot of, there's a lot of, like playful banter.
I think they each adore each other and just being in each other's company. So Larry's always got a smile in the few times I've seen them together, and Martin's going to end up making Larry crack up.
Absolutely. Having said that, I always hated this character. Like, it is one of the most annoying, unfunny characters I think ever. But again, somehow with Larry David, it works for me at least.
I don't have anything bad to say about him.
It's because you and Martin are such good friends.
Martin Short is one of the most talented comedians I've ever seen, and the characters he can do. And I didn't realize he had a book that came out recently, or in the past couple years, and he talked about losing his wife. He was on a podcast, I forget which one, being interviewed, but it was really profound with the way he spoke about her and his career. Got to track that down.
Yeah, Martin Short is
love that guy.
One of the all-time greats, man. He's fantastic. They actually had a little bit on that. What was that event called? Jon Stewart hosted it. I want to say like from the Beacon Theater in New York. It was like Night of 1,000 Stars or something. You know what I'm talking about? But there was this, it was like the pledge drive. You had this phone bank of all these comedians, like the girls from Broad City were there and Susan Sarandon, but in the front was Larry David and Martin Short. And they did that bit where Martin Short they were trading off the phone with a lady pretending to be Larry David, basically.
I remember.
And even Martin Short was on an episode of Curb, wasn't he?
That's right. Doing Jiminy Glick
There
impressions.
you go. So it all comes together. But we'll include a link in our show notes for you guys. Vinny, in bigger news, we got the latest trailer for Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, Season 8.
This is news.
I don't know who's up first, but check out this lineup. You got J.B. Smoove, Jim Gaffigan, John Oliver, Judd Apatow, Lorne Michaels, and Margaret Cho.
So remember last season when the list was announced and we said, wow, there's a couple of those names I kind of know who that is. Some you don't even know. These are all A-listers in comedy right here.
Yeah, I asked you before we started recording, like, what's the biggest name here? It's kind of like everyone's on the same level.
Yeah.
Really.
It's a who's who.
They're all
a murderer's row, if you will.
Right. I mean, they're all stand-up comedians in a sense. I don't know if Lorne Michaels ever did stand-up, but, I mean, he's such a heavy hitter from a production standpoint. But is there a name on here that you're looking forward to the most?
Oh, it begins and ends with J.B. Smoove.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, I associate J.B. with Larry and Curb. It'd be cool to see, and I guess he was in that season, the Seinfeld arc season 7, but to see just to see Jerry and JB go on one-on-one. And even you heard in the trailer, JB, JS. It's adorable. Can't wait.
On the topic of similar titles, remember, Vinny, we went over like the Soup Nazi, the Chinese Restaurant, the Chinese Woman.
I was there.
He brings up similar titles, The Abstinence and The Virgin.
That's very good.
Yeah, thematically, it's got something there. Paul goes further to say, in The Virgin, Jerry dates someone who's never had sex, while in The Abstinence, George and Elaine stop having sex to mixed results. Also, both episodes feature someone watching Jeopardy in Jerry's apartment. In The Virgin, it's Kramer watching while George is on the phone with Susan.
Here come the judge! Here come the judge!
Exactly. And in The Abstinence, George does so well on Jeopardy that it causes Jerry to ask, is this a rerun? So
No, what is Chicken Kiev?
There's some nice parallels between those two.
Very good, Paul.
And then one email from Josh Elzey from New Orleans. He writes, you guys were talking about crossovers in NBC, and it dawned on me that you guys may have missed out on one of the greatest shows of the 90s, featuring Dave Foley, Stephen Root, Andy Dick, and Phil Hartman. We're talking about News Radio.
Phil Hartman.
Yeah. Did you ever watch News Radio?
No, I didn't.
Me either.
I always confuse News Radio with Just Shoot Me.
In season 3, episode 22, one of the best episodes, Jerry Seinfeld is actually featured extensively. It's not just a cameo. He plays himself. Not sure if it's Jerry from Seinfeld or if it's real life Jerry. I watched the clip online. It definitely seems to be like big celebrity Jerry.
Mm-hmm. I don't recall this at all.
No, me either. And we've talked about, crossovers like Kramer being on Mad About You, but it's kind of cool to see Jerry Seinfeld be on another sitcom and have these really, long bits of dialogue with Phil Hartman. He doesn't just pop in for a second. But we'll include a link in our show notes. It's actually a lot of fun to watch, even without the context of the episode. It's pretty much Phil Hartman's character trying to sit down and interview Jerry Seinfeld all of a sudden at a restaurant while he's trying to enjoy his meal.
Man, I feel like I got one slip past the goalie just there.
Mm-hmm. But we'll include a link in our show notes if anyone wants to watch it.
We should try and watch News Radio kind of we've always wanted to watch shows together in coordination, but really can't pull it off. You're able to kind of plunge through faster than I am.
We should do what Kramer did in The Maid, where he's got his girlfriend downtown and they watch Quincy together.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that Curb Your Enthusiasm is returning. It's official for a 9th season sometime in the near future.
All right.
Did this surprise you, or did you see it coming?
I didn't see it coming, and I was surprised, but I wasn't like, I can't believe it. I just said,
Right.
oh, great. More Curb.
It would be more surprising if Seinfeld came back for a 10th season.
Absolutely.
Right. But this, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. Because, Larry never really wraps up Curb season by season.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like this is our send-off,
Yeah.
cut to black. It always feels like, hey, if we want to come back, we will.
Right. I love that.
From doing Clear History to Fish in the Dark, it kind of felt like Larry was kind of done with Curb for a while. He wanted to try other,
Right.
avenues, other mediums.
Bernie Sanders this past year.
Yeah, that's right, sketch comedy. As you could tell, from Fish in the Dark and Bernie Sanders on SNL, Larry David, I think, is just as popular as he's ever been.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's almost like you could gauge, the reaction to everything he's done as sort of, is there still interest in me and what I do? And
oh, yeah.
it just seems...
He's adored now. He's considered a comic genius.
Absolutely. And, HBO have gone on record, I think, saying, hey, whenever Larry wants to come back, we'll do a 9th season. In fact, Vinny, they're giving him, I think, sort of like as much time as he needs on this 9th season. We don't have a release date yet, or a premiere date, rather, for the season. But I would imagine by this time next year, we'll have the official date. I don't know how long it takes to film and, produce and put all the episodes together. But I would think next summer we'll have an official release date.
I can be patient.
Yeah. This is from the website medium.com. I'll just read this real quick. The Emmy and Golden Globe winning comedy series Curb Your Enthusiasm starring Larry David will return to HBO for its 9th season. It was announced today by Casey Bloys, President, HBO Programming. Details of the new season will be announced as they are confirmed. This is the president speaking. We're thrilled that Larry has decided to do a new season of Curb and can't wait to see what he has planned. Asked why he decided to come back, David said, in the immortal words of Julius Caesar, I left, I did nothing, I returned. So
on Reddit, there somebody said there's no more Larry David like response that you could have than that.
Yes. I left, I did nothing, I returned. So yeah, probably in the next, I don't know. I say wait till 2017 to get like an official premiere date. But I'm sure we'll hear little bits about casting or, people out in LA saying, "Hey, look, they're filming Curb Your Enthusiasm here."
We mentioned JB Smoove last week that he, talked to Larry, and it's like, yeah, it'll probably happen.
Oh, we didn't mention that he was on a radio show recently, right? Kind of talking about the potential for a ninth season.
Well, Larry called him, right, and said JB doesn't like to bring it up anymore. He used to ask about Curb, now he doesn't. Larry brought it up. He said, if I did more, would you be up for it? And JB said, you let me know when, I'll be there.
That's sort of the sentiment for most people on Curb. Like Jeff Garlin has said the same thing. Richard Lewis.
Yeah.
Everyone's just pretty much waiting on Larry. So
I actually hope to see some Cheryl Hines in this upcoming season 9. That would be nice.
Yeah, she's been sort of absent from the last, season or two. But I'm sure, dude, like, if this is the last season, like, officially, you're going to
say that.
Well, it's possible, right?
Yeah.
I think this is more likely to be the last season than... I mean, we haven't had, like, a proper finale since season 5. Do you remember that one?
That's the Blacks, right?
No, that's season 6.
Or Richard Lewis Needs a Kidney.
Yes.
Because that felt the finale of season 5 felt like it could have been the series finale of Curb.
Right, and I remember after season 5 saying, "Oh wait, they're coming back. How can they top that?" And you realize, oh my god, the show could just go on forever, really.
Yeah.
But there's something nice about 9 seasons of Curb. 9 seasons of Seinfeld.
Go on.
Also, 10 episodes per season. That would make it 90 episodes of Curb, which is half of Seinfeld's 180.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that. Last week, when we recorded the Mom and Pop Store, the big celebrity, Jerry Seinfeld, decided to interrupt our recording and do an AMA on Reddit. There are some incredible responses here. We'll include a link in our show notes, but I pulled a few of them, actually quite a few, that tie into Seinfeld, the TV show, and Comedians in Cars that I figured we could just maybe talk about here a little bit, Vinny. First up, right at the top, someone asked, "Hey, do you ever watch Seinfeld when it's on TV? You're just flipping through the channels." And Jerry said, "I don't, but I do consider it for a split second, and then I go, I can't do it." He says it's like watching your home movies, and it's just him watching him. It's kind of weird, which I think makes sense. Jerry doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would want to watch himself on TV.
No, it's like when Margaret asked him, "Kiss me." I can't. I think it's really sweet that he thinks about it, but he just can't do it, and that he thinks of this glorious show that we all adore as little home movies. He's looking back in time. Yes. Can you imagine though him being a man in his 60s, flipping, and he sees himself in his 30s on the television? That's got to be like a surreal feeling. When asked, Jerome, did you take anything from the Seinfeld set? He said, actually, I have quite a bit. And we're looking for a museum that wants to display it. I have the couch, 2 blue stools. I have the table and chairs. The coolest thing I have is the door, which we never repainted in the 9 seasons. And it has every scuff mark from all of Kramer's entrances, especially if you look at the bottom because you have those black shoes. Right. That is an interesting piece of information. If he could open a museum, I would assume in New York, I would be there.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work. Maybe the what's it called? The Museum of, is it Moving Images? We went to it out in Queens. They have a lot of TV and movie props there, so that would be kind of a cool home for it.
But in the same way that Hulu had this section specifically for Seinfeld, they rented that building. Mm-hmm. I'd want it to be Seinfeld only.
Right.
You could have the diner set that we saw, because that was from the show, as well as movie seats.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Make it happen, please.
Yeah, man. I hope something comes from that. Who knows? Maybe it will just be donated to the Smithsonian. I mean, that's possible.
That's where the puffy shirt is.
There you go.
Put it somewhere.
I thought this was interesting. Hey, Jerry, what is the real story behind the appearance and reference of Superman in Seinfeld? And Jerry responded, Larry David and I discovered that we were both obsessed with Superman and admired him and also found him very funny at the same time. So that's why he came up a lot. Not that exciting.
Fascinating.
But still, at least it's not as crazy as, we wanted to, that dumb rumor. It's in every episode. He's just like, no, we brought it up a lot because we liked him.
They're fans.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry was also asked which joke he is most proud of. And he responded, I think the best Seinfeld episode idea I ever contributed was that George, pretending to be a marine biologist, would find Kramer's golf ball in the blowhole of the whale. Believe it or not, we were doing both of those stories without seeing any connection that Kramer was going to hit golf balls at the beach, and George was going to be pretending to be a marine biologist. And it was in the middle of the week that it suddenly hit me as a way to connect the two stories. So I think that's probably the best joke I ever thought of on the series. But I love when people say regift or giddy up or yada yada, the real and the spectacular. I was a very big fan of the show.
Oh,
So there,
very nice of him.
he likes his own product.
Now, that's something we definitely talked about in The Marine Biologist, how this joke kind of, I don't know, it all came together in the 11th hour when they're like, oh my God, we can dovetail these two stories perfectly, which just blows my mind still to this day. How could that not be obvious to them as writers? But it just goes to show, you know,
Got a lot going on.
Yeah, man. Like when you're putting together the show, sometimes it only seems obvious once you connect the dots.
And have known the episode inside and out for 20 years, as we have. Jerry really, he made a comment in the end of season 2 or 3 that the show is really blessed. And I really feel like the comedy gods were watching over the show to make sure the most funny material made it in.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. This isn't so much a question here, but Jerry does mention at one point that his teacher in first grade was named Mrs. Stafford.
Miss Stafford?
Yes, which will play into the race episode when George says, I had sex with the voluptuous homeroom teacher, Miss Stafford. Anyways,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Again, that's very Larry David and Seinfeld, for that matter, to use real names.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Now, Jerry has a lot more Seinfeld-related questions to answer, but we want to move on to Comedians in Cars here because there's some little gems here. Remember, Vinny, in the past we talked about what guest we'd like to be on the show, living or dead. I think you brought up Rodney Dangerfield, I think.
And Mitch Hedberg.
Right. Someone asked Jerry, hey, what dead comedians would you have liked to have on Comedians in Cars? And Jerry says, Charlie Chaplin, George Burns, George Carlin, Joan Rivers.
Damn.
Here's some just incredible trivia for the show. Believe it or not, the idea has been explored to do some kind of CGI effect, using footage of dead comedians to get them in the car, and then we would write dialogue around it.
Wow.
It was a total disaster. ... It sounds horrible. Like, who considered that?
But the fact that they thought of it,
Oh,
I don't know. I think that's kind of cool.
what? You want to see a CGI version of Mitch Hedberg being like, hey, Jerry, I got a joke for you.
Is that your Mitch Hedberg impression?
Don't twist this on me. You think that's a good idea?
No.
Okay. God.
He did. Somebody also asked if he would consider having guests that have already appeared on the show, and he said they're actually exploring that as well. So, I mean, Larry David, Michael Richards, like, bring them back.
Not only that, but we've talked about, hey, you got Larry, Michael, and Julia. You don't really have Jason because he was George Costanza. So I think they need to...
I say get all 5 of them in the car, like they're going to purchase an air conditioner in Jersey. That'd be a fun episode.
I do like that one. That's nice. I think that's going to do it, though, for our AMA recap. Again, we'll include a link in our show notes. You can check out all of Jerry's responses there. He has some incredible ones, not only about Seinfeld and Comedians in Cars, but B-Movie, which always seems to get brought up whenever Jerry's doing an AMA, and also just some advice on stand-up comedy. There's some real gems in there. Jerry even talking about how he was considering finding a way to teach a class at Columbia on comedy.
Ooh, that I like too.
Really cool stuff in there. So check out the link. Let's move on to our segment, Newman's Mailbag. We have 2 emails about this ongoing discussion of similar titles on Seinfeld. Chinese woman, Chinese restaurant, etc. From Kelsey Barnes, she wanted to add the 2 titles, The Shower Head and The Baby Shower. There's something in there, too. Kind of overlooked.
She's got something all right.
Joe Johnson wanted to throw in the episode title, The Wallet. Now, this doesn't have a similar title, but when he hears The Wallet, he always thinks of George and his massive stuffed wallet in the reversed peephole.
Ah, now he's off on a topic.
There you go. Lauren Wilson wrote in about George's car. She was watching the Briss. George's make and model when the Pigman steals it, it's a 76 Chevy Impala.
Completely forgot about that.
There you go. Pete Lindbergh wrote in, which I'm very happy he did, because, Vinny, this is something I noticed when I was editing last week's episode of the Mom and Pop Store. Pete writes in saying, "Hey, I was listening to the clip where Elaine correctly guesses Next Stop Pottersville, and I noticed Larry David's voice makes another appearance. When Mr. Pitt is telling Elaine about how his father did not let him do anything associated with a common man, Larry David's voice is on the radio. He can't tell what he's saying because it's subtle, but it's definitely him."
It's not the radio DJ. That's a different voice, correct?
Yes.
There's another voice that's Larry's?
a second voice.
Okay.
So you have the guy like saying, "Hey, call 555 band if you know the answer."
Okay.
But when you get that exposition from Mr. Pitt, sure enough, it's Larry David's voice in the background. I don't have audio to play here because it's really hard to hear, I think, when these files are all compressed. But listeners at home want to just check it out on their DVD or on Hulu. It's definitely him.
Miss Natalia Valdon.
Last emails here are about crossovers, Vinny. We've been bringing this up the past couple of weeks. Mad About You, News Radio. Evan Thomas King wanted to remind us that the Larry Sanders Show actually crossed over with Seinfeld. More of a behind the scenes kind of look at Seinfeld, but there is
still counts.
Exactly. There's a point where Jeffrey Tambor is passed out on the Seinfeld couch. Remember from that Gary Shandling episode of Comedians in Cars, they reveal that Seinfeld and Larry Sanders were filmed right next to each other.
Damn, I really got to watch that show. Did you start it already?
No, so I only know it's Gary Shandling's show.
Okay.
I don't know Larry Sanders as well, but Larry Sanders is the one I'm more interested in.
They run together in my head as being the same show.
But they're totally not, yeah.
I'm not smart.
Larry Sanders, I believe, is on Amazon Prime.
Oh.
So if you have Amazon Prime, you can check it out there, I believe.
Oh, I know what I'm doing after this.
Mm-hmm. But thanks to Evan for emailing us, reminding us about the Larry Sanders Show. I'll try to find a clip online and include it in our show notes. Another email comes from Samuel Yao. He wanted to bring up News Radio yet again to remind us, that there's some Seinfeld cast members that show up on it as well. You've got John Lovitz, Stephen Root, Patrick Warburton, and this week's titular character, Vicki Lewis.
Hey, the secretary herself.
Yes. Jeff Schaefer, Vinny, Seinfeld writer, writing partner of Alec Berg.
League creator.
Yes. Also writer and executive producer on Curb Your Enthusiasm, was on the Rich Eisen show just a couple of days ago talking about Curb. And we have a clip here from that interview.
Curb Your Enthusiasm is back for season number 9. I've been after you for years, right? When was the last time? It was 2009, was it?
Yeah, it'll be about 4 or 5 years when we come back on the air.
Good
and you've
Lord.
been persistent.
Very.
You've been patient.
That light's been on.
Yeah, you've asked. And it was always going to come back, and somehow it was always going to come back. It was hard to say when. And Larry was busy doing a lot of other things. He has a lot of opportunities and things. And,
yes.
But he's always been walking around with that notebook. He's got his notebook. The notebook gets filled up, and those ideas have to go somewhere. And we were talking about it. We were talking about it. And finally we realized it would be super fun to get the band back together and do it again.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, and is everybody back in?
I think everyone's excited to come back. We'd love to have everybody back.
So anybody who's been in it before is
Yeah.
they're Funkhauser, Richard
Funkhouse,
Lewis.
the whole
JB
gang.
Smooth.
Yep, the whole gang. So
We all know Garland. He was on last week. He
Exactly.
says he's back. He's going
Yeah.
back too.
So that's pretty crazy, right? Like, pretty obvious we're going to get some returning cast members. JB Smoove.
I didn't doubt that anybody would not be returning. I assume all the major players, just like Rich mentioned, will all be back.
Absolutely. But we got maybe some possible storylines in there. I'm not keeping up with Rich Eisen's like Curb pitches, I guess. He does that on his show, maybe when Jeff Garland was on. But I do like that Jeff Schaefer ran that idea by Larry.
Yeah.
And they talked about it, and maybe, it's in the air. It's
a good idea.
Maybe it'll show up in the series. Who knows? What Jeff Schaefer actually went on to talk about is that they're looking to film this fall. So they're going to start filming maybe in the fall, early winter. I think we're going to get Curb season 9 sometime next summer. Maybe that's counting our eggs before they hatch, but maybe
the eggs are at least getting cooked sometime. I can wait.
Right. Is that the right analogy? But
Whatever. They know what we mean.
right. I was thinking we weren't going to get any episodes until fall of 2017, but maybe we'll get them as soon as the summer. Who knows? I wonder who else is writing with Larry. It's Larry and Jeff. I'm sure Alec Berg is stepping
And Dave
in.
Mendel.
I mean, they are busy with other HBO shows
True.
now. Jeff, since ending the league, he's probably freed up. But
And Larry Charles came in often, right, as well?
yeah, he did. But yeah, it's really exciting though to hear about those scripts. They've already got the beginnings of 2 episodes written. Very interested to see what the overarching story is going to be this season. Next up from Michael Flores in Texas. 2 things. First of all, he says, I decided to roll like Vinny and start rewatching the series backwards, and it paid off.
Hey, that guy's all right.
Yeah, this is something that you do, Vinny, and I don't know if many listeners have tried it, but what's the benefit of watching the show backwards?
I don't know. It's something about kind of doing the Quentin Tarantino thing where you see the ending first and how it all came to be, and then you go backwards.
Do you tend to notice, I don't know, more connections that way? Or
I don't know. It has like a different feel to it because you're each season the character's getting younger and I guess more naive and the relationships are getting less fleshed out. You've already seen where they are, so kind of see where I don't know. I like going backwards, particularly with Seinfeld.
Well, the biggest thing I noticed when we rewatched the like the first 3 seasons is how nice the characters are. Like they care about each other.
Yeah.
Jerry's very sensitive. George doesn't want to insult anyone. He's concerned how he comes off. And
Elaine recycles still.
That's right. Those are early seasons. It's got to be cool to see these turn into really nice people.
Yeah. It's uplifting.
Anyways, Michael writes in also to say, I wondered why Elaine was okay with dating the communist Ned, and it hit me. Elaine freaks out in the airport episode when she rants about how our goal should be a society without classes. It was flattering. We were just standing in line, ready to meet John O'Hurley, and people would just come up and introduce themselves. And yeah, it was very flattering. It could have been run a little better. I think those first 20 people meeting John O'Hurley might have talked for too long, or
Perhaps
got a lot of stuff signed. By the time we came up, you were like, John O'Hurley, we do a Seinfeld podcast. We really
that's
like...
all I'm gonna say. No, let's take a picture. Cheese. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think I said something to him about, I think just thanking him for his time, but he looked so fried from
it was
the
a long
whole
day.
We also watched some comedians in cars together. We just watched the Judd Apatow episode, which was wonderful. This episode I think was trending for a while because Jerry gets pretty emotional.
The subject of Gary Shandling comes up, and Jerry had to kind of wipe a tear away, and it was really, really sweet to see him get so emotional over a dear friend who he lost.
Yeah, I've never seen Jerry cry before. That was really something to see. Another event here that one of our listeners wrote in about, Stephen Hanley is running a Seinfeld Curb evening at his bar. They're going to be airing the following episodes of Seinfeld: The Opposite, the movie, The Chicken Roaster, as well as the Curb episodes Porno Gill, Crazy Eyes Killa, and The Freak Book. So this is going to be kind of a night, for fans to get together, drink, hang out, party, watch Seinfeld and Curb.
I also love his choice of episodes for that night. So well done, Stephen.
Definitely. Figured we could start off this week recapping the big Emmy Awards this past Sunday. It was, to my surprise, like a Seinfeld night where I was like, oh yeah, Julia's nominated. That's great if she wins. Awesome. But Larry David was there. He presented.
I saw the Instagram photo bomb.
Yeah, Jerry was there with his wife.
I saw his selfie.
Yeah, and we got a great acceptance speech from none other than Dave Mendel, former Seinfeld writer, giving shout-outs to Larry and Jerry. We have some clips here we want to play before we get into this week's episode. First up was Julia's win for Veep, which is incredible because this has now, I think, set a record. She's won 5 consecutive Emmys for the same role in the same category. She has an Emmy for New Adventures of Old Christine. So she currently holds the most leading actress in a comedy series. She also has an Emmy for Seinfeld, supporting acting. So she now has 7 Emmys for it's just like nuts. We talked about this briefly last week, right? With her beating Candice Bergen, maybe, and Mary Tyler Moore.
I can't help but think of that blooper that you posted earlier this week of, we won an Emmy, Yeah, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And now, look how far she's come since that moment.
And it was great, too, because Jerry lost and she won last
In your
the other night.
face.
Figured we could play some audio clips here. First up, I have Julia's acceptance speech. For someone to win so many Emmys in the same category for the same show, I don't think it could go to a better actress.
And
or better person, really.
And deservingly. I think most people that listen to this show are fans of Veep, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But she is incredible on that show.
Yeah, a lot of shows that we bring up on Seincast that everyone's like, why are you talking about other shows? This is Seinfeld.
Shut up.
They're all under the same umbrella. Like they're funny shows, and we really like talking about shows when there's a connection to Seinfeld, like Curb or Veep,
Thank you.
Silicon Valley. Not many connections with Arrested Development or It's Always Sunny, but still very funny
There's
shows. But huge congrats to Julia for winning another Emmy, setting another record. But as I mentioned earlier, it didn't end with Julia winning Veep, because at some point during the evening, they moved on to the Best Comedy Series. And, a lot of great comedies in this mix. You got Blackish, Modern Family, Silicon Valley, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and Veep, of course. And you're wondering, who's going to be presenting this? And all of a sudden, Larry David walks out on stage.
Cue the Curb Your Enthusiasm music.
It'd be much better if they played some real hardcore rap or something.
Oh, yeah. Play some Crazy Eyes Killer.
Yeah. You mentioned this before we were recording. Larry has really established his personality to the mainstream. Everyone knows what they're going to get when Larry David is giving a speech or presenting an award.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely LD shtick now that he does, which is amped up when the camera's rolling.
I wonder what it's like to be in that room, because the mic doesn't pick up everyone's laughter. Mm-hmm. So I wonder, is the room dying? Are they just going crazy? Or
they did those jump cuts to different members in the audience, and you saw each one of them was just rolling. I saw Amy Schumer, Seinfeld was laughing, Chris Rock. Everybody was so amused at what was coming out of Larry David's mouth.
Did you notice his hair was just a little Rick and Morty-ish,
If you're asking if it was like Doc Brown or El Clowno, then yes, it was. He's a silver-haired fox, that one.
Yeah, I think we have more hair talk later on in the show. But it was great seeing Larry. And eventually Larry got on to actually announcing the winner of Best Comedy Series. And it was so cool when he said Veep, because, you have these other great comedy shows in the running. I didn't think Veep was going to win a second year in a row. And it was so cool to know that Julia's show won, but Julia was coming up there. Dave Mendel, the showrunner, and he's someone who, I don't know if he cut his teeth, in comedy writing on Seinfeld, because he did SNL and I think he did some Simpsons, but definitely early on in his career, Jerry and Larry were a huge influence. But we have Dave Mendel's acceptance speech, and it's just a great visual because you got Julia behind him. I think Larry's somewhere on stage.
Yeah, he got lost in the fold after the whole cast came on stage.
Joel Hornick, the actor's name is escaping me right now.
Kevin Dunn.
Kevin Dunn, of course. We should know. We follow him on Twitter. But he's up there, former Seinfeld co-star. So it was just a really great, capper to the evening to have sort of Seinfeld, in the air.
It was like the swirl.
Yeah. Wait, what?
You said it was a great capper.
Oh, okay.
Come on, callbacks now. Seeing the love among the cast and crew members when they were on stage, they actually all embraced in this giant group hug after Dave Mendel's speech. And it was so touching to see all of them come together. You can tell there's a lot of love on that show. Yeah,
we actually have audio. A third clip here we'll play of Dave Mendel's acceptance speech. And it features a few cutaways. I think they cut to Jerry at some point when he mentions him. So here we go. Great night. A lot of Seinfeld stuff going on, which was awesome. So we'll include links in our show notes if we can track down the clips on YouTube or on Twitter or something. So check it out there.
John Oliver ended up winning for the best variety show, right? That Comedians in Cars was nominated for?
That's right. So Jerry lost, but Last Week Tonight won, which in my opinion is so much more deserved.
Understandably so.
Yeah. Fantastic show.